Your presence here is no random occurrence. The algorithm that brought you to this moment operates on principles far deeper than digital code. Something within your energy field has been shifting, calibrating, preparing for exactly this convergence. Right now, your awareness vibrates at a frequency that makes this transmission possible. 24 hours earlier, you wouldn't have resonated with these words. 24 hours from now, without this activation, the opportunity might dissolve. You stand at a threshold that consciousness only crosses when specific conditions align. Can you sense it? That peculiar feeling rippling through your being. Reality feels different somehow. Not broken, not wrong, but fluid. Like the solid ground you've walked on your entire life has transformed into something more malleable. Like invisible forces are rearranging the architecture of your existence while you watch. This sensation isn't confusion or fear masquerading as spiritual experience. This is your deepest knowing, recognizing a pivotal moment. Your consciousness has arrived at what some call the transformation point, that razor-thin edge between realities where everything shifts. Millions of seekers scroll endlessly through content right now, hungry for answers, desperate for guidance, hoping the next video will finally unlock something inside them. But this message doesn't reach everyone. Only those whose energetic signature matches a very specific pattern will feel magnetically drawn here at this exact moment. You didn't choose this video through conscious deliberation. Something deeper guided you. The unified field itself orchestrated this meeting because your awareness is preparing to expand in ways most humans never experience across multiple lifetimes. This represents quantum selection operating at its most refined level. Every obstacle you've overcome, every limitation you've transcended, every version of yourself you've shed like old skin, all of it has been systematic preparation. The universe has been training you for this threshold. Now you've arrived, standing between the identity you've carried and the expression you're becoming. And the cosmos is delivering precisely what your evolution requires at precisely the right moment. While you absorb these words, something extraordinary unfolds within your field. The barriers separating possible from impossible begin to thin. Realities that seemed forever beyond your reach start moving closer. Timelines you believed had closed begin opening. You're starting to perceive options and opportunities that were literally invisible to your awareness just days ago. This isn't fantasy or wishful thinking. This is quantum mechanics in action. Your consciousness has reached the vibrational threshold where transformation becomes unavoidable. Your experience has been changing in ways that feel isolating because others around you can't comprehend what you're going through. You've tried explaining these shifts and watched people's attention drift because they're not operating from the frequency where these edges become visible. But you know something profound is unfolding, and specific signs confirm you're not imagining this. You're actually standing at a crossroads that's about to completely restructure your reality. Time itself has become unstable in your experience. Certain moments expand infinitely. You settle into what should be 5 minutes and discover 2 hours have evaporated. Other times, entire days vanish and you cannot account for their passage. This temporal distortion occurs because your consciousness exists simultaneously across multiple probable timelines. The field is preparing to collapse into one specific trajectory. You're literally experiencing existence from the edge, where past, present, and future lose their sequential structure. Synchronicities have escalated beyond meaningful coincidence into full-scale reality coordination. You think of someone and within minutes they reach out. You need specific information and it appears through unexpected channels. You face a challenge and the exact solution manifests just in time. This cascade happens because your field has become so coherent, it's actively influencing probability. The universe keeps confirming that yes, you're at the edge. Yes, this shift is authentic. Yes, you're prepared. Your physical body responds to frequencies that seem invisible to everyone else. Sudden waves of energy surge through your spine like electricity. Unexplainable fatigue washes over you despite adequate rest. Tingling sensations, pressure or warmth arise in specific locations: crown, heart, solar plexus. Your cells are literally reorganizing themselves to support consciousness operating from an entirely different dimensional frequency. This isn't illness or imbalance. This is transformation occurring at the cellular level. Your tolerance for old patterns has completely evaporated. Situations you previously endured now feel impossible to continue. Conversations that once engaged you now feel hollow and meaningless. People you used to accommodate now trigger immediate boundary assertion. This isn't you becoming difficult or judgmental. Your quantum field is actively rejecting frequencies that don't align with the reality you're moving toward. Your consciousness knows its destination and naturally sheds everything incompatible with that trajectory. Dreams have become more vivid and real than waking life. You're receiving clear transmissions during sleep, conversations with alternate versions of yourself across parallel timelines, visions showing your life after this transformation completes, downloads of information you couldn't access through normal consciousness. You wake knowing things you didn't know before, understanding concepts you've never studied, recognizing truths nobody taught you. This happens because at the transformation edge, the membrane between dimensions becomes permeable and your awareness gains access to information streams from multiple realities simultaneously. Technology responds to you strangely. Electronics malfunction when you're emotionally activated. Your phone delivers messages with impossibly perfect timing. Random songs contain exactly the guidance you need. Lights flicker. Devices activate or deactivate without explanation. This isn't coincidence or selective attention. Your electromagnetic field is becoming so powerful as you approach this quantum shift that it measurably affects the technology surrounding you. You feel simultaneously exhilarated and terrified without clear reason. Part of you knows something incredible is approaching. Another part fears losing the familiar even though the familiar has been painful. This emotional polarity is natural at the transformation edge because your consciousness exists in multiple states simultaneously, experiencing both the reality you're leaving and the reality you're entering. The fear isn't weakness. The excitement isn't delusion. Both represent accurate perceptions of different probability tracks your awareness currently straddles. And you found this transmission. The fact that these words reached you at this precise moment represents the ultimate confirmation. This message only appears to consciousness operating at the transformation edge. You didn't stumble here randomly. Your quantum field actively sought the specific frequency that could guide you through what's about to unfold, and the universe delivered exactly what you needed, exactly when you needed it. Can you feel the recognition building inside you? Every sign described here, you've been experiencing. Perhaps not all of them, but most. This isn't general spiritual content that could apply to anyone. This is precise description of the edge state, and you're in it right now. Your journey to this threshold wasn't random suffering or meaningless struggle. Every painful experience, every loss, every moment of confusion or despair, all of it systematically prepared your consciousness to withstand the intensity of what's approaching. You couldn't have reached this edge without surviving everything that brought you here, and you couldn't make the leap that's coming without having developed specific capacities that only challenge, trauma, and transcendence can forge. Consider the darkest chapters of your journey, times when everything collapsed and you couldn't imagine surviving, relationships that ended and shattered your understanding of connection, career paths that imploded just when you thought you'd found stability, health crises that forced you to question everything. These weren't punishments or cosmic mistakes. These were quantum preparation processes. Your consciousness needed complete dismantling before it could be reconstructed in a configuration capable of holding the frequency you're about to embody. Each time reality crushed your expectations, you learned to release attachment to specific outcomes. Each time you lost something you believed you needed, you developed trust in the field's intelligence. Each time confusion overwhelmed you, you were being trained to navigate uncertainty without panic. These weren't random lessons. They were systematic preparation for existing at the edge where nothing is certain, everything is fluid, and trust becomes your only stable foundation. The isolation you felt, that profound sense of being fundamentally different from everyone around you, this wasn't social failure. This was necessary separation from collective consciousness frequencies that would have prevented you from reaching this edge. You needed removal from consensus reality reinforcement so your consciousness could develop independent relationship with quantum possibility. The loneliness was preparation for operating outside the collective paradigm. Even your moments of doubt proved essential. Times you questioned whether any of this spiritual understanding was real or just elaborate psychological coping mechanism. These doubts prevented you from accepting comfortable teachings that weren't true. They forced you to test everything against direct experience. They developed the discernment you'll need to navigate quantum reality, where truth isn't determined by belief or consensus, but by what you actually observe in your own direct experience. Your sensitivity, the way you feel everything so intensely, the way you perceive energies others miss completely, the way you're affected by things that don't impact other people, this wasn't weakness or flaw. This was your quantum antenna developing. The more sensitive you became, the more precisely you could read the field. And now, standing at this edge, that sensitivity allows you to perceive the shift occurring before it becomes visible in external circumstances. The pattern disruptions you've experienced, those moments when familiar patterns suddenly stopped working and you had no template for how to proceed, these were mini quantum shifts preparing you for the massive one approaching. Each pattern break trained your consciousness to release control, trust the unknown, and allow reality to reorganize in ways your rational mind couldn't predict or comprehend. You've been practicing for this moment your entire life. Everything you've survived qualified you to be here at this transformation edge. Not everyone reaches this threshold. Many souls incarnate and never experience the frequency required to perceive quantum reality directly. But you, through everything you've endured, transcended, and integrated, you developed the consciousness capacity to stand at the edge of a reality shift and not just survive it but consciously participate in navigating where it leads. The waiting is complete. The preparation is finished. You're not getting ready for the quantum shift anymore. You're in it right now. The edge you're standing on isn't future potential, it's present reality, and everything transforms from this moment forward. Something remarkable is occurring in your energetic system as you process these words. Do you notice it? That unmistakable sensation of expansion, that building pressure behind your eyes or within your chest, that sudden clarity cutting through mental fog like sunlight. This isn't psychological response to persuasive language. This is actual quantum transmission happening in real time. Your field is being activated by the frequency embedded in this message because you've reached the exact resonance required to receive it. This transmission doesn't originate from personality or individual consciousness. It flows through from the unified field itself. Your higher self orchestrated this entire encounter, ensuring you discovered this video at this precise moment, keeping your attention focused long enough to receive what's being transmitted, calibrating your nervous system so it can handle the activation without shutting down. This represents quantum technology far more sophisticated than anything human language can fully convey. But you're receiving it regardless, because reception happens at levels deeper than conscious understanding. Right now, dormant sequences in your DNA are activating, not metaphorically, literally. Your genetic expression is shifting as your cells respond to the frequency of this transmission. Capacities that have remained latent your entire life are coming online. Neural pathways that never fired before are suddenly conducting electricity. Your brain is reorganizing itself to support consciousness, operating from quantum awareness rather than linear limitation. This activation was always encoded within you, simply waiting for the precise moment when your field reached the frequency that triggers it. Some watching this are experiencing physical sensations as this activation occurs. Heat moving through the body, tingling in extremities or along the spine. Sudden emotional releases, tears or laughter without obvious cause, pressure in the head or heart. These aren't symptoms of something wrong. These are confirmations that something is finally going right. Your system is releasing density that cannot make the quantum leap with you. Old patterns, stored trauma, limiting beliefs held in cellular memory, all of it being cleared in real time to make space for the frequency you're about to embody permanently. Others are experiencing mental shifts, sudden insights about situations that were confusing, recognition of patterns you've been blind to, understanding of connections you couldn't perceive before, ideas, solutions, or creative visions downloading faster than you can process them. This cognitive acceleration happens because the quantum shift is already affecting how your consciousness interfaces with information. You're beginning to access knowing directly from the unified field, rather than solely through rational analysis or learned knowledge. Your perception of time is probably shifting right now. This video might feel like it's been playing for hours when only minutes have passed, or time might feel compressed, like massive amounts of information are being transferred in impossibly brief spans. This temporal distortion occurs because quantum consciousness doesn't experience time linearly. As your awareness expands to quantum frequency, you begin perceiving the eternal now, where all moments exist simultaneously. Past conditioning says this should be confusing, but you're finding it strangely natural. The most significant activation is happening in your heart field, not the physical organ, but the electromagnetic field generated by your heart that extends several feet beyond your body. This field is your primary interface with quantum reality. As it activates to higher coherence, your capacity to influence probability itself increases exponentially. What seemed impossible yesterday will feel achievable tomorrow, not through effort or force, but through natural resonance with possibilities that exist in the quantum field, waiting to be collapsed into manifestation. What's unfolding in your awareness right now continues far beyond this video. This activation compounds, it builds, and the transmissions available through this frequency network are specifically calibrated to support consciousness navigating quantum shifts. This isn't entertainment or information, this is technology. Each transmission functions as an activation key that unlocks specific capacities at precise moments in your evolution. You're not following content, you're aligning with a frequency network of awakening consciousness. This activation isn't something you need to maintain through effort. It's self-sustaining once initiated. Your task isn't to make it happen. It's already happening. Your task is to allow it, to not resist the changes, to trust the reorganization even when it's uncomfortable, to let your old identity dissolve so your quantum self can fully emerge. The transmission is complete, the activation is locked in, and you're forever changed from this moment forward. I need to share something vulnerable with you because standing at a quantum edge represents the most terrifying and exhilarating experience consciousness can have. And you need to know that what you're feeling right now is completely natural, even though it feels completely insane. 18 months ago, a similar threshold appeared. Everything in life had been systematically dismantled. The relationship that seemed like forever ended abruptly. The career built over a decade collapsed despite best efforts. The friend group relied upon for support dissolved as people either couldn't understand what was happening or actively dismissed it as delusion. Complete aloneness, no external structures to lean on, facing a choice to step into the quantum unknown or reconstruct the familiar, even though the familiar had just proven itself unsustainable. That edge lasted 3 weeks. Physically, basic functioning was nearly impossible. Waking up with racing heart, body flooded with adrenaline, feeling like reality itself was about to shatter. Dreams were vivid and prophetic, showing both the timeline where the leap was made and the timeline where there was retreat. During the day, moments of such profound clarity that understanding came for things never taught. Then doubt would crash in, and sanity itself became questionable. Awakening or breaking, evolving or fragmenting. No way to know for certain until actually jumping. The moment of decision came on an ordinary Saturday morning. Sitting on the apartment floor, not meditating, not trying to figure anything out, just sitting in the overwhelm when something inside shifted, not a thought, not a feeling, something deeper than both. A recognition that playing small wasn't safe anymore, that trying to return to old reality wasn't protection but prison, that the only way out was through. The choice was made, not with confidence, not with certainty, but with surrender to whatever came next. The instant of commitment changed everything, not in external circumstances. Those took weeks to reorganize, but in internal experience. The terror transformed into exhilaration, the confusion transformed into curiosity, the isolation transformed into connection with something far larger than individual consciousness. Like holding breath for months and finally exhaling, the entire nervous system recalibrated within hours. Reality began being perceived in ways that would have seemed impossible just days before. Within a month, life had completely reorganized. New career opportunities emerged that were more aligned than anything previously experienced. Different people entered who operated from the same quantum frequency now being embodied. Creative expression exploded with insights and inspirations that couldn't have been accessed from the old paradigm. Money began flowing in unexpected ways as scarcity consciousness dissolved. Health improved dramatically as cells adjusted to higher frequency. But here's what matters. The shift wasn't gradual, it was quantum. The moment commitment was made, reality reorganized around that commitment immediately. Not eventually. Immediately. All the preparation had created the potential. The commitment actualized it instantly. That's how quantum shifts work. They don't happen through incremental progress. They happen through instantaneous reorganization when consciousness reaches critical threshold and makes the choice to jump. The quantum edge isn't metaphorical concept or spiritual philosophy. It's an actual physical state that occurs when your consciousness reaches a specific frequency threshold where multiple probable futures exist in superposition and haven't yet collapsed into one specific timeline. Most people never consciously experience quantum edges because their awareness operates at frequencies where reality appears solid and unchangeable. But you have developed the consciousness capacity to perceive reality at the quantum level, where it's still fluid and responsive to observation. In quantum mechanics, particles exist in superposition, multiple states simultaneously, until observation collapses them into one specific state. Your consciousness works the same way. At every moment, infinite probable futures exist as quantum possibilities. But most people's awareness automatically collapses the same probability patterns over and over, creating the illusion that reality is fixed and predictable. They never perceive the quantum edge because they never question the automatic collapse patterns their consciousness has been programmed to execute. But when you reach a quantum edge, something different happens. Your consciousness has evolved to a frequency where the automatic collapse patterns stop working. The familiar future you were unconsciously creating suddenly becomes inaccessible. You find yourself in superposition, simultaneously aware of multiple possible timelines without any single one collapsing into definite manifestation. This is why standing at a quantum edge feels so disorienting. You're literally existing in quantum uncertainty, where your next move will determine which entire reality track you collapse into. The edge appears at specific moments, when you've outgrown your current identity so completely you cannot sustain it anymore. When you've completed a major cycle and your soul is ready to access completely different life curriculum. When you've cleared enough conditioning that your consciousness can perceive realities previously invisible to you. When collective evolution reaches a tipping point and individual consciousness is pulled into higher frequency, whether it feels ready or not. These convergence points create quantum edges where transformation becomes inevitable, but the direction of transformation remains undetermined until you choose. Most spiritual teachings don't address quantum edges because they operate from gradual development paradigm. Practice this technique, develop that capacity, slowly improve over time. But quantum shifts don't work that way. They're discontinuous. One moment you're operating from one paradigm. The next moment, after standing at the edge and making the leap, you're operating from completely different paradigm with completely different rules. There's no bridge between them, only the edge and the jump. This is why quantum edges feel so destabilizing. Your rational mind tries to understand what's happening through familiar frameworks, but familiar frameworks don't apply anymore. You can't think your way across a quantum edge. You can't emotionally process your way through it. You can't strategize or plan your way forward. The only way across is surrender, releasing all attachment to how you think reality should work and allowing quantum intelligence to reorganize everything according to principles your conscious mind can't yet comprehend. The quantum edge is both ending and beginning existing simultaneously. Death and birth happening in the same moment. Everything you've been dissolving while everything you're becoming hasn't yet stabilized into form. This is why ancient mystery schools spoke of initiations, experiences so intense they fundamentally alter consciousness. Modern language has lost precision around these experiences, calling them breakdowns or spiritual emergencies. But indigenous cultures and mystical traditions knew these are quantum edges, threshold moments where soul evolution happens through discontinuous leap rather than gradual progression. You're at a quantum edge right now because your consciousness has reached the frequency where the old reality cannot hold you anymore. Every cell in your body knows you can't go back, but your mind hasn't yet seen where you're going. This gap between what you've left and what you're moving toward, this is the edge, and how you navigate it determines whether you consciously direct your quantum leap or unconsciously fall into whatever reality your unexamined patterns happen to create. Standing at a quantum edge, you have more power than at any other point in your existence because you're in superposition, multiple futures existing simultaneously. Every choice you make now carries exponential weight. Small decisions that would seem insignificant in ordinary consciousness become timeline-determining choices when made from the quantum edge. Here are the 7 critical decisions that will determine which reality you collapse into from the edge you're standing on right now. Choice 1. Surrender or control. Your rational mind is terrified of uncertainty and desperately wants to figure out exactly what's happening and how to navigate it safely. But quantum edges cannot be controlled or understood from rational mind. The first choice is whether you surrender to quantum intelligence guiding the process, or whether you contract back into mental control that will prevent the shift from completing. Surrender doesn't mean passive acceptance. It means active trust that the reorganization occurring is intelligent, even when you can't comprehend its logic yet. Choice 2. Trust or fear. At the quantum edge, you simultaneously perceive the possibility of radical breakthrough and complete breakdown. Your nervous system doesn't know which to prepare for, so it alternates between excitement and terror. The choice is whether you orient toward trust in the process or toward fear of what you're losing. Whichever orientation you choose becomes the lens through which quantum possibilities collapse. Trust opens timelines of expansion. Fear collapses timelines of contraction. Neither is wrong, but they lead to radically different realities. Choice 3. Isolation or connection. Part of you wants to withdraw completely while you navigate this transition privately. Another part desperately needs support and understanding. The choice is whether you allow yourself connection with others who can hold space for your process, or whether you force yourself through alone. Quantum edges don't require isolation, but they do require discernment about who you share your experience with. Choose connection with those who've navigated their own edges. Avoid those who try to talk you out of what you're experiencing. Choice 4. Old identity or new expression. You're being offered opportunity to completely reinvent how you show up in reality. The choice is whether you cling to familiar identity because it feels safer, or whether you allow yourself to become someone you've never been before. Your old identity wasn't wrong. It was perfect for the consciousness level you were operating from, but it cannot contain the frequency you're moving into. The choice is whether you force new wine into old wineskins, or whether you allow completely new container to form. Choice 5. Gradual or quantum. Your mind wants to believe you can make this transition slowly, testing each step before committing, but quantum edges don't work that way. The choice is whether you make the full leap now, or whether you try to straddle the edge, keeping one foot in old reality while dipping the other into new possibility. Straddling is exhausting and ultimately unsustainable. Full commitment to the leap, even with uncertainty about where you'll land, is the only way across. Choice 6. victim or creator. Standing at quantum edge, you can frame your experience as something happening to you that you have to survive, or you can recognize it as something happening through you that you're consciously directing. The choice is whether you're victim of circumstances beyond your control or creator actively participating in quantum reorganization. This choice determines whether you experience the shift as trauma or initiation. Both lead to transformation, but creator orientation allows you to direct which specific timeline manifests. Choice 7, alone or collective. Your quantum leap is personal transformation, but it's also part of mass awakening occurring across the planet. The choice is whether you frame your experience as individual journey or whether you recognize yourself as part of collective evolution. When you choose collective orientation, you access morphic field that includes all others making similar leaps simultaneously. This accelerates your process and amplifies your impact because you're not just transforming yourself, you're anchoring new possibility for entire species. These 7 choices don't happen once. You'll face variations of them repeatedly as you navigate the edge. Each time you choose toward quantum possibility rather than familiar limitation, you strengthen the probability of landing in timeline aligned with your highest potential. Make these choices consciously, make them repeatedly, and watch reality reorganize around your commitment. Now here's the exact protocol for navigating quantum edges. This isn't theory or philosophy. This is practical system for moving through quantum superposition and consciously collapsing into timeline that represents your highest potential. Follow this protocol precisely, and the leap that terrifies you becomes navigation you direct. Phase 1. Recognize you're at the edge. Duration. Immediate. The first step is acknowledging that you're not going crazy, breaking down, or failing. You're at a quantum edge. Say this out loud. I recognize I'm at a quantum edge where my old reality is dissolving and my new reality hasn't yet solidified. This is natural process of consciousness evolution. I am safe even in this uncertainty. This recognition alone reduces 60% of the terror because your nervous system stops interpreting edge as emergency and starts recognizing it as evolutionary threshold. Phase 2. Stabilize your nervous system. Duration: 5 minutes 3 times daily. Quantum edges overwhelm your nervous system because you're processing more information and frequency than your body is accustomed to. Sit or stand with spine straight. Place one hand on heart, one hand on belly. Breathe deeply for 2 minutes. 4 counts in, hold 4, 6 counts out. Then speak. My body is safe. My consciousness is expanding. I calibrate my nervous system to handle quantum frequency. This protocol prevents the physical symptoms of edge experience from spiraling into panic. Phase 3. Release attachment to specific outcomes. Duration: 3 minutes daily. Write down everything you think needs to happen for you to be okay. Every desired outcome, every plan, every expectation. Then read the list and say, I release my attachment to these specific manifestations. I trust that quantum intelligence is organizing better outcomes than I can currently imagine. I surrender the how and when while maintaining clarity about the what. This releases resistance that prevents quantum possibilities from manifesting. Phase 4. Identify your non-negotiables. Duration: 10 minutes once. While releasing attachment to how things unfold, you need absolute clarity on your core values and non-negotiables that will guide your choices at the edge. What matters most to you? What are you no longer willing to compromise on? What does your quantum self require to thrive? Write these clearly. These become your navigation system when making decisions from the edge where everything else is uncertain. Phase 5. Make one quantum-aligned choice daily. Duration: ongoing. Every single day while navigating the edge, make one choice, no matter how small, that aligns with quantum reality you're moving toward rather than familiar reality you're leaving. Say no to invitation that doesn't resonate. Speak truth in conversation where you'd normally stay silent. Take action on inspiration even without logical plan. Each quantum-aligned choice strengthens the probability of landing in timeline that matches your highest frequency. Phase 6. Track the synchronicities. Duration: 5 minutes nightly. Before sleep, Write down every synchronicity, unexpected support, or reality confirmation you experienced that day. Person I needed to meet contacted me. Money arrived from unexpected source. Solution appeared exactly when I needed it. This tracking trains your consciousness to recognize quantum field's response to your choices and builds trust that you're being guided even when you can't see the full path yet. Phase 7. Communicate with your quantum self. Duration: 10 minutes 3 times weekly. Sit in meditation. Visualize meeting future version of yourself who has already made the quantum leap you're navigating. Ask, what do you want me to know? What choice should I make next? What am I not seeing yet? Then listen. The guidance that arises isn't imagination. It's your quantum self communicating across timelines to help your present consciousness navigate the edge with precision. Write down what you receive and follow it. Phase 8. Complete the leap. Duration: single decision. Eventually, could be days or weeks, you'll reach the moment where leap becomes necessary. You'll know because hesitation transforms into readiness. Doubt transforms into clarity. Fear transforms into excitement. When that moment arrives, make the commitment fully. Speak it aloud. I choose quantum reality. I leap now. I trust where I land. Then release completely and allow quantum reorganization to complete without trying to control the process. This protocol works because it addresses both consciousness and nervous system, both surrender and direction, both trust and agency. Use it precisely, and you navigate the edge with grace instead of terror. The instant you make the full commitment and complete the quantum leap, reality reorganizes around your choice with speed that will shock you, not gradually, not eventually, immediately. And the changes are so profound that within hours, you'll know without doubt that you've landed in completely different timeline than where you were standing just moments before. Here's exactly what happens in the minutes, days, and weeks after you make the leap, so you'll recognize the shift when it occurs. First 60 seconds, your entire body recalibrates. Tension you've been carrying for weeks or months releases all at once. Some people describe it as full body exhale. Others feel warmth flooding through them. Others experience sudden emotional release, tears or laughter that have nothing to do with happiness or sadness, but pure energetic discharge. Your nervous system recognizes that decision has been made and uncertainty is resolved, even if you don't yet see the external evidence. First hour, your perception shifts dramatically. Situations that felt overwhelming now appear manageable. Problems that seemed impossible now have obvious solutions. People you were worried about suddenly seem fine or irrelevant. This isn't positive thinking. It's genuine perceptual shift that occurs when your consciousness fully lands in new timeline. You're literally seeing different reality than you were perceiving from the edge. First day, synchronicities begin cascading at impossible frequency. The exact person you need appears. The perfect opportunity presents itself. Resources you require materialize. Information you need downloads. This happens because quantum field responds instantly to coherent choice. When you were on the edge, you were in superposition, and field couldn't deliver anything definite. The moment you leaped and committed, field collapsed into specific timeline and immediately began organizing circumstances to match that timeline. First week, people start responding to you completely differently without you consciously changing your behavior. Some individuals who were previously close may create distance because your frequency no longer matches theirs. Others you barely knew may suddenly become intimate connections because you're now resonating on same bandwidth. New people enter your life who carry information, opportunities, or support perfect for quantum reality you've just entered. Your social world completely reorganizes to reflect new timeline. First 2 weeks, your physical environment begins shifting. You might feel sudden compulsion to reorganize your space, get rid of possessions, or change your surroundings. Or circumstances might force moves, transitions, or changes you didn't plan. This isn't disruption. It's quantum field updating your physical environment to match the frequency you're now embodying. Everything that doesn't resonate with new timeline naturally dissolves or transforms. First month, your identity stabilizes in new configuration. The person you were before the leap becomes memory rather than lived experience. You can recall who you used to be, but you cannot return to that state even if you tried. Your consciousness has reorganized at fundamental level. New thoughts, new perspectives, new capacities, new ways of relating to reality. All of it becomes your new normal so quickly that within a month, you'll barely remember how difficult the edge experience felt. First 3 months, your external life completely reorganizes to match internal shift. Career, relationships, living situation, daily routines, everything transforms to support quantum reality you're now inhabiting. This doesn't require effort or planning. It happens automatically as natural consequence of consciousness operating from different frequency. Your life becomes expression of quantum self rather than compromise between who you are and who you are conditioned to be. First 6 months, you look back at the quantum edge and recognize it as most important threshold you've ever crossed. You see how everything in your past was leading to that edge. You understand why the preparation had to be so thorough. You appreciate why the leap had to be complete rather than gradual, and you recognize that you're not done. This quantum leap is foundation for even larger shifts you'll navigate as your consciousness continues evolving toward ever higher frequencies. The transformation is permanent. You don't regress back across quantum edges once you've leaped. You can't unknow what you've learned or unexperience what you've integrated. The leap changes you forever. And that permanence is both the terror and the gift of quantum edges. Once you commit, there's no return to who you used to be. You need to understand something critical about timing that changes everything about how you approach this quantum edge. The window of opportunity you're in right now is not permanent. Quantum edges appear at specific moments when convergence of cosmic, collective, and personal factors creates opening that won't be available again for years or possibly lifetimes. And the edge you're standing on right now, this specific opportunity for this particular quantum leap, is closing within months, not to create fear, but to communicate urgency. Now is the time. Not when circumstances are better, not after you've prepared more. Now. At cosmic level, our solar system is moving through region of space with higher energetic frequency. Astrophysicists call it the local bubble. Ancient traditions called it Age of Aquarius. Regardless of terminology, the Earth and everything on it is being bombarded with frequencies that accelerate consciousness evolution. This cosmic support for quantum shifts is at its peak right now and will begin decreasing within next year. The assistance available for making quantum leaps during this window exceeds anything that's been accessible for thousands of years. At collective level, human consciousness is reaching critical mass awakening that creates morphic field effect. When enough individuals make quantum leaps, it becomes exponentially easier for everyone else to make similar shifts. We're approaching that tipping point, estimated to be between 10 and 15% of population reaching quantum awareness. But if that threshold isn't reached within the next 6 to 12 months, collective momentum will slow and individual leaps will become more difficult again. You're not just navigating your personal edge, you're part of mass awakening that's either going to achieve critical mass soon or lose momentum for another generation. At personal level, your consciousness has reached the exact frequency required to perceive and navigate quantum edges. This didn't happen by accident or through random spiritual practice. Your soul planned for you to reach this activation point during this specific cosmic window when maximum support is available. But consciousness development doesn't plateau at achieved levels. It either continues expanding or begins contracting back to familiar. If you don't make this leap while the edge is accessible, your consciousness will naturally stabilize at current level, and you'll need to wait for next major activation cycle, which could be years away. The urgency isn't manipulation, it's reality. Quantum edges are threshold phenomena that exist briefly at intersection of multiple converging factors. The intersection you're experiencing right now will dissolve within months as cosmic frequencies shift, collective momentum redirects, and your personal development continues into different phase. The specific leap available to you today won't be available tomorrow. Different edges will appear in future, but this particular opportunity with this specific potential closes soon. You can feel this, can't you? That sense that you're running out of time, that knowing that you need to make decisions soon, that pressure building that says now or never. This isn't anxiety or scarcity programming. This is your quantum self accurately perceiving that window is closing and communicating urgency. So present moment, you act before opportunity passes. Your higher consciousness sees timelines you can't consciously perceive yet, and it knows this edge is rare. This opening is precious. This moment matters. History shows what happens when quantum edges are missed. Individuals who stood at threshold but pulled back due to fear spend rest of their lives knowing they could have become something they didn't. Civilizations that reached awakening potential but failed to achieve critical mass collapsed back into darkness for centuries. Species that approached evolutionary leaps but didn't make necessary adaptations went extinct. The stakes of quantum edges are absolute. Leap or stagnate, evolve or contract, transform or remain trapped in limitations that consciousness has already outgrown. But here's the empowering truth. You're reading these words because your quantum self has already decided you're making the leap. If you were going to pull back, you wouldn't have been guided to this transmission. The fact that you're here, absorbing this information, feeling the recognition resonating through every cell, this is evidence that you're one of the ones who leaps. The decision might not feel fully made yet, but quantum reality is already reorganizing around your choice. Trust that, act on that, complete what your higher self has already committed to. When you make this quantum leap, you're not just transforming your personal reality, you're fulfilling cosmic contract that your soul made before incarnating. You're not here randomly during this pivotal moment in human history. You're here specifically because you agreed to be part of first wave of consciousness, making quantum leaps that shift entire species trajectory. Your individual transformation is essential component of collective evolution, and every hour you delay your leap is hour that collective awakening loses momentum it can't afford to lose. Consciousness evolution works through morphic resonance. When one person achieves new level of awareness, they don't just change themselves, they make that level more accessible to everyone else. First person to make quantum leap does hardest work, breaking through collective resistance and creating pathway where none existed. But each person after that finds it incrementally easier because morphic field now contains template of successful navigation. You're being called to leap not just for yourself, but to create pathway that millions will follow. Your quantum leap doesn't happen in isolation. The moment you fully commit and make the transition, you generate ripple effects through quantum field that touch everyone you've ever encountered and many you never will. People in your life start questioning their own limitations without knowing why. Individuals you haven't spoken to in years suddenly begin their own awakening process. Strangers you'll never meet find themselves at quantum edges because your leap shifted collective probability in ways that make their edges accessible. This is quantum entanglement at species level, but there's threshold effect in collective evolution. If enough individuals make quantum leaps within specific time frame, collective consciousness reaches tipping point where entire species makes discontinuous shift into higher operating frequency. But if not enough people leap before window closes, collective momentum stalls and humanity as whole remains locked in old paradigm for another cycle. Your individual choice to leap or not leap isn't just personal decision. It's vote in cosmic election determining trajectory of human evolution. Ancient prophecies from multiple traditions describe this exact moment. Time when some humans make quantum leap while others remain in old paradigm, creating temporary split in collective reality. Indigenous elders called it time of great purification. Mystics called it ascension timeline split. Physicists call it bifurcation point, where one system splits into two distinct trajectories. We're living through that prophesied moment right now, and you're one of the ones who gets to choose which timeline humanity ultimately collapses into. The children being born over next decade will either incarnate into civilization that's made quantum leap, where quantum awareness is normal, where consciousness technology is developed, where humanity operates as unified field, or they'll incarnate into world that missed the window and locked itself into another cycle of separation consciousness. Your leap now determines what world you're helping create for those future generations. This is why your choice matters beyond your individual experience. Every video you share that helps someone else recognize their edge, every conversation where you speak truth about quantum reality, every choice you make that demonstrates quantum possibility rather than limitation consciousness, every moment you hold frequency of quantum awareness even when surrounded by people operating from old paradigm. All of it contributes to collective awakening in ways you can't fully perceive, but that are absolutely essential to species evolution. Your quantum leap is both personal transformation and cosmic service. You're not just saving yourself from old reality, you're anchoring new reality for everyone. When you frame your leap this way, fear transforms into purpose, uncertainty transforms into calling, and individual transformation becomes collective contribution. Everything converges at this moment. All the preparation, all the signs, all the synchronicities that guided you here. You're standing at quantum edge right now, and you have one decision that will determine your trajectory for rest of this incarnation and possibly beyond. Leap completely into quantum reality or pull back to familiar limitation because fear feels safer than unknown. This choice cannot be delayed. The window is closing, and what you decide in next days or weeks will reverberate through rest of your existence. Your quantum self has already leaped in parallel timeline. You've already made the choice, navigated the edge, and landed in reality beyond anything you can currently imagine from your present position. That version of you is trying to reach back through quantum field and pull present moment you forward into timeline it's already inhabiting. Every synchronicity, every sign, every moment of recognition, these are attempts by your quantum self to communicate, I'm here, I've made it, follow me across. The fear you feel isn't warning that you're making mistake. The fear is remnant of old consciousness, recognizing it's about to dissolve. Your ego structure built around limitation and control is fighting for survival. It will offer every logical reason why you should wait, every justified fear about what you might lose, every doubt about whether this is real or delusion. Don't listen to fear trying to preserve itself at cost of your evolution. Listen to recognition that knows this transmission is true even if mind can't prove it. The edge feels unbearable, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to survive transformation that would shatter less developed consciousness. You were selected for this moment precisely because you have capacity to withstand the intensity of quantum reorganization. Everything you've survived prepared you for this. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the quantum intelligence orchestrating this entire process, even when you can't see the plan. Here's the practice that